and welcome to my mid-year series check-in video. We're now just past the middle of the year, so what I thought I'd do today is go through my series tracker with you and have a look to see how well I am doing on continuing and completing series this year and which series I also really want to focus on. So let's get into my Notion template and have a look to see if I've completed any series, if I've continued any, or if I've just let them stagnate for that bit longer. So as you can see, this is my current Notion template, and I've still very much got the Interview with the Vampire theme right now because this year feels like the year of the vampire book for me, which admittedly hasn't gone that well. I've read like 2 vampire books this year, so I need to get working on that, but I'm still calling it the year of the vampire for me, so I've kept the Interview with the Vampire themed. And then if we go down and I can show you what I've got on this template, I've got title, author, genre, publisher, which is all pretty self-explanatory, even if I'm not using that publisher bit at all myself. I may actually delete that for myself because I don't generally sort of pay attention to publishers, to be perfectly honest with you, but on the version that I'm selling on Etsy, which I'll leave a link to down below, that will still very much be there for anybody who wants to use that publisher bit on this template. But then if we scroll across a bit, I've also got the name of the last book read, and then also the next book in the series, because I find that really useful personally, just because sometimes, especially when I'm reading things like comic books where there is literally just the like number of the next volume, I can find it very difficult to remember which one I've last read and which one I need to read next. So I have these 2 listed down here so I can just see it at a glance. Then I've also got the checklists here for the next book owned and the new book out, because obviously if there isn't a new book out in the series yet, or if I just don't own it, I can't really do anything about continuing on with that series. So anything where I don't own the next one or the next book isn't out yet, I can just put that series out of mind for a while because I can't physically do anything to carry on with that series. Then right at the end here, I also have a checklist for whether I've continued a series this year, and then also whether or not I have completed it, just so I can keep track of which series is that I am focusing on this year and which ones I've completed and which ones I still need to work on. And speaking of what ones I need to work on, if we scroll down, there's a lot of blank check marks here because I have sorted this into ascending order compared of like which ones I've continued, which ones I've completed. As you can see, it takes all the way down to here before I get anywhere near anything I've actually continued, let alone completed. But if we look down here at the percentage checked off here, 21% of the series that I had started have been completed this year, which is a fantastic start because for me personally, I wanted to complete maybe like a quarter of the series that I had already started this year, so I am well on my way with that. And I've also continued on with nearly 30% of the series that I'm currently reading, which is also fantastic. Obviously, I want this number to be a lot higher than that. I would like this to be maybe around 50% by the end of the year, but considering I'm already halfway to that at the midpoint of the year, I am really happy with that. In terms of the series I've actually continued on with though and completed, first of all is the Chaos Walking series by Patrick Ness, which obviously I was doing a read-along for, so naturally I was reading those books and completing them. I have also finally completed the Shang-Chi series by Gene Luen Yang. I've been meaning to read this for absolutely ages now, but I did not have the 3rd volume. I finally got the 3rd volume for my birthday, so I've completed that one off, so I can finally check that off, which I've been meaning to do for maybe 4 years now, so I'm very happy about that. I've also continued on with Murderbot as well. I have admittedly not completed it, but I have continued on with it. I've finished the first cycle within the Murderbot series, so I'm very happy with that, because that one I've been reading for about 3 years now, so I'm very happy to have at least finished the first cycle in there. Also, Mind Walker, I finished literally last week at time of filming, so I'm very happy there. Dark Lord Darby, I admittedly started this year, but I've also finished it this year, mainly because it was a duology, so it wasn't ridiculously difficult to do because it wasn't like books and books long, so I'm still taking that as a win because that's still one series started and finished within a year. Skyward, I started last year and finished this year as well. I did not mean to. I thought there was more volumes in the series. Turns out there was only 3, but still, it's another series finished. Daredevil, I started this year and finished this year, so I'm very happy about that one. I was reading that around March and April time because it was part of the Daredevil reading that I was doing because it was the basis for the new TV series, so naturally I was reading this at the same time as the TV show coming out, but still very happy to have finished that, because quite often I start series around the time that their adaptations or their characters are getting TV shows and films and stuff, and then it takes me another 3 years to finish them, like it did with Shang-Chi. So the fact I managed to finish a 9-volume series within this year, after starting it this year, makes me very, very happy. In terms of Legendborn, I've continued on with that series. Obviously, I can't do anything about that one because we don't even know when the next book is going to be out yet. So, still very happy to be keeping on top of that one and just waiting for the next one. And then finally, the last one I've also finished is Captain America Cold War. And this one was a mixture of 3 separate series that all came together, which I read in February and absolutely adored. So, again, still very happy with that one because, like I said, half the time I start comic book series around the time they're new like films and TV shows are coming out, and then I never actually finish them, or I take 3 years to finish them. So very happy, to say the least, that I managed to actually read this series and complete it within this year. But in terms of everything else, as we can see over here, if we go to these checklists, there's a lot of stuff I have not even looked at yet, and a lot of these are ones that I started this year. So for example, I started Long Live Evil, Her Majesty's Royal Coven, The Department of Truth, and How to Treat Magical Beasts, as well as The Ascendance of the Bookworm, and also Amazing Spider-Man this year. And that's just added to my list. I really shouldn't have started them, to be perfectly honest with you. I probably should have carried on with some series that I already owned, but I didn't. So I ended up with this, and I've ended up with more series ongoing that I haven't continued on with, and most of them I don't actually even own the next book in the series yet, so I can't do anything about it. But yeah, it's not my finest moment, I won't lie. I was meant to be focusing on the series I've already started and not starting more of them, but I mean, I have finished actually slightly more than I've started, so at least there's that. And then if we look at the top of this and have a look at all of the ones I have not continued with, I have no excuse. For a lot of these, I have no excuse, because for Toby Day, I read the 3rd book in the series, and then I've got the next 3, and I have not continued on with it yet. Even though I really, really enjoy that series, I've definitely got to get on with that. Iron Widow, I own Heavenly Tyrant. Haven't read it yet. Same goes for the next one in the Gentleman Bastard series. Have not read that one yet, despite the fact that Olivia unhauled to me the next 2 books in the series a couple of months ago now. I just haven't read them yet, mainly because they are really, really chunky books, and quite frankly, I've just not had time to read them yet, so I definitely need to get on that one. Ninth House, I've got absolutely no excuse for either, to be perfectly honest with you, because again, I own the next book in the series. I really want to continue on with it. I just haven't for no apparent reason. Darkwood, I admittedly have a plan for, because that is the next book I'm going to be reading after I finish filming this video, so I will hopefully be getting on that one soon. World Tree, I admittedly can't do anything with because I don't own the next volume. As you can see over here, I do not own it yet. Spy X Family, I was relying on the library for, and admittedly my hold came in 2 days ago, I think it was, for that volume, and I have not read it yet, so I definitely need to be getting on that before my hold runs out. Binti, I am also reliant on the library for, and unfortunately they do not have the next one, aka the Night Masquerade. They do not have that one yet, so I am waiting for them to get that in so I can read it. Something is Killing the Children, again, I've got no excuse for. I literally own the next one in the series and the spin-off series, and I have not read either of them yet. Then if we look at the Krakoan series, I have not continued on with that one yet, but if I allow myself a little bit of an excuse here, this is all of the series that make up the Krakoan era, or at least the series within the Krakoan era of the X-Men that I want to read, which means I've then got to find all of these ones in Marvel Unlimited, where I'm reading it at the moment, because they started doing some weird stuff with the bind-ups and everything, and I just went, bugger it, I'll read it on Marvel Unlimited. Because I own the subscription, I may as well save myself some money and a headache, and then I realised how much of a headache it was going to be to find all of these. And I've admittedly done that, but then I also want to read these in like a basic bind-up order, so they're really easy to track, which means I've then got to keep an eye on the individual issues I am reading, and trying to read one, then read in one series, then read the next one in the next series, because obviously they're all interacting with each other and intersecting with each other. And it's just a real headache. It is an absolute headache to do. I'm definitely going to do it at some point. Hopefully, maybe in August, maybe. because there's a little bit of a gap there in terms of me having to read any comics for any kind of Marvel project coming out or anything else. There isn't anything coming out until the 27th with the Eyes of Wakanda, so I'm going to have a little bit of time in August to maybe continue on with this series and maybe try and read a couple of volumes within this. But so far this year I just haven't had time or the brain space, so I just haven't done it. But I definitely want to this year. Without doubt I want to get to that. In terms of Discworld, I only want to read maybe 1 or 2 a year so I can stretch them out for as long as physically possible, because I never want that series to end. So I'm not particularly bothered that I haven't continued on with the series like at all this year. And to be honest as well, I've only written Lords and Ladies down because I did have a vlog idea for it that never ended up happening in the end. But I don't mind whichever book I read in that series. I just kind of pick and choose because you can with that series. But as long as I can check off the continued this year box this year, I'll be perfectly happy. In terms of The Wicked and the Divine, I can't do anything with either because I do not own the next one in the series, because I can't own the next one in the series because they never go on sale and I'm trying to save myself some money. The same goes for the Pinocchio Vampire Slayer, because I really want to continue on with that series and can't because, again, I haven't bought the next one. It never goes on sale. The same goes for Grimm as well. In terms of Black Hammer, I do own the next 3 in the series and haven't continued on with it yet. I really need to. The Chronicles of St. Mary's, I literally own every single book in that series, and the spin-off, and also the second spin-off that has just come out this year, and I haven't read any of them, and I really should, because they are really short books. They're not that hard to read. They're really, really quick reads, and I just haven't done it yet, so I really need to get on that. The same goes for Lockwood & Co. I really want to continue on with that series. I've got 3 books left in it, so I really want to continue on with that one this year and read at least 1 more in the series. And the same goes for The Dark Gifts. I have owned the Tarnished City book for 4 years now, I think it is, and I still haven't continued on with it yet, so I really need to do that, to be perfectly honest with you. In terms of Long Live Evil, I can't do anything with because All Hail Chaos is not out yet. Her Majesty's Royal Coven, I own the next book in the series. I own Shadow Cabinet, so I need to get on with that one, and I've admittedly only just bought that a couple of weeks ago now, so I've had a kind of excuse for that, along with the fact that I've only just started this series, so I'm kind of giving myself a little bit of a pass there. In terms of How to Treat Magical Beasts, I cannot continue on with that one either because I'm reliant on the library. The Department of Truth, I don't own the next one. Ascendance of the Bookworm, I am also dependent on the library. And then finally, The Amazing Spider-Man, I have entirely on Marvel Unlimited. I just haven't read it yet, so I just need to really get on that. So as you can see, I've not done the greatest in terms of continuing on with series. And I mean, I was really hoping that these were going to be, these 2 columns were going to be absolutely filled with check marks by now, and they are just not. But at the very least, I am on track in terms of the percentages that I wanted to either continue on with or complete. So that's not too bad. But in terms of the ones I really want to focus on for the rest of the year, I'm going to say the Toby Day series, because I really love that one and I really do want to continue on with that one. I'm going to say Ninth House. I'm also going to say Darkwood. If anything, I'd like to complete Darkwood this series this year if physically possible. I'd also like to continue on with Something Is Killing the Children. I'd like to at least get at least 1 more volume in all of these read of Krakoa if physically possible. I also wouldn't mind reading at least 1 more Discworld book this year because I have reread Weird Sisters this year, but I would like to read a new one if possible. I'd definitely like to read at least 1 more book in St. Mary's, and then also Lockwood & Co. And then anything else I can get through would be absolutely brilliant at this point. So we shall see how things go. So as you can see, I'm basically on target in terms of my series tracking, but there is a lot of series that I'm really neglecting this year, so I really need to actually get on and actually read those ones because I do really want to read them and I am putting them off for the most part for no apparent reason, so I really need to be working on that in the second half of this year. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me a series you really want to continue this year, I'd love to know, or if you don't have that much time, leave me a book stuck emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to my Etsy store where I'm selling this Notion template as well as my general reading Notion template as well. If you want to organise your life via Notion this year, or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But till next time everyone, bye!